Hi, everybody, or grad students, I should say. This is specifically for you guys because it's the one major assignment that you have to do that the undergrads don't, and that is creating an annotated bibliography. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now as I've taught these 6-week summer courses because I think it's just not traditionally what you would have done for this class would be to write a research paper. And I don't think 6 weeks is enough time to do that. So instead, we're going to basically begin the process of that by creating a small annotated bibliography. And so just to sort of look at the overview here, well, it says what I just said. So you're going to basically pick one text that we had for class. So a particular chapter of McCrum et al., The Story of English, and ideally a particular chapter, but it can maybe like draw on elements of multiple chapters, or one of the videos that we saw. And you're basically going to pick a topic. I mean, you're going to start this as if you were starting a research paper. And when you think about the themes of the class, the topics can be pretty broad. Um, it can be literary in nature, the ways that literature has impacted language. It can be pedagogical in nature if you are in the classroom in any way, talking about reading or reading literacy or writing instruction. It can be historical. I mean, you can address some of the major historical events that have impacted the language. But whatever approach you take, you're going to pick that one either chapter or video that we've watched, and that becomes your first source, and you're going to annotate that source. And just to jump down here, an annotation for the purposes of this assignment means a 3 to 10 sentences would be very long, but a 3 to 10 sentence paragraph giving a summary of the source and an evaluation of the source and a discussion of how the source connects or fails to connect to your research interests. It should address those three things, like what are you interested in and how does it connect to that? Is it a good or actually evaluate the source? I mean, does it make quality arguments? Does it seem to make use good evidence? And then, but the whole annotation begins with just your short summary of sort of the key points of that source. Now, in addition to that one in-class source, you will be researching 5 other sources. So this means you're going out and seeking 5 other sources that you will read, and then you will provide the annotation for. And that's it. That's the extent of the assignment. And this is going to be due next Friday, just to remind everybody. I'm suggesting for the sources, you want to generally use scholarly, peer-reviewed sources. And for this subject matter, the best way of accessing those is going to be through, hopefully you can see this, EKU libraries. You're going to go to online resources, and that'll bring you to this page. And then you can go to the M's, and absolutely one of the best resources for linguistic research is good old-fashioned MLA International Bibliography, which is available through EBSCOhost. And of course, these are all proprietary websites. You have to go through the library website to access these. If you go through the open web, they'll ask you to pay a couple $1,000s for a subscription. But don't stop there, because your student fees are already paying for access to this. But that's why you have to go through the library website. MLA is excellent because it addresses, is a collection of major sources related to linguistics and literary research. So you're going to find a lot of good sources on here. JSTOR is a good general subject database. The big difference between MLA and JSTOR, and one of the reasons for the purposes of this class I think JSTOR is going to be really useful, is that everything on JSTOR is available full text online. A lot of the stuff on MLA we do not have access to directly through our libraries. You would have to request it through a Library Express loan. Now, for articles, those can be pretty quick. I've gotten pretty quick turnaround time on those. 2 to 3 days, they usually suggest. But obviously, that means that you want to start doing your research now in case there's any really interesting sources that you might want to find that you'd have to request through Library Express. But with JSTOR, that won't be an issue. Everything's fully available. You can just read it right online. Or at worst, download it as a PDF and then read it on your device. And then annotate it. And again, the annotation being summary, short summary, like one sentence evaluation of the source, and then one sentence description of how the source connects or does not connect to your own research interests. And so you're going to have 5 outside sources, and then the 6th source will be whatever the sort of initial in-class source you're using as your basis for the annotated bibliography. And then you're going to compile that all in MLA style. And, so this is alphabetical by author's last name. It is as if you were making a works cited page, but then in between each citation, you're going to have this short paragraph that does the summary, evaluation, and connection piece. And that's it. And then you're going to submit that on Blackboard by next Friday at midnight as a .doc or .pdf file, and I will have it. And so that's sort of the research component that I want you all doing for the class. Post any questions you have. Post any questions you have to the grad channel on Discord, since this will be irrelevant to the undergrads and we don't want to confuse anybody. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.